Now, if you're a fan of any of these players, I'm not trying to be mean to any of them. I'm simply creating comedy, and hopefully not at the expense of anyone's feelings. I just think some of these people would behave better at my birthday party than others, you know? Our hypothetical situation. Lula is turning 24. It's her birthday party. It's a costume party at her house with some party games, snacks, and alcohol. The playlist is ready to go. The vibes are immaculate. Somehow, a ton of titled chess players actually RSVP'd to her invitations and decided to come. So how did they behave? So we start with none other, Hikaru Nakamura. I think that Hikaru is unlikely to bring me a gift. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna mince my words. I really just don't think he would bring me a present. I also think that he would talk during the happy birthday song. I think that people would be singing the happy birthday song and I think he would start talking. I'm not gonna lie. I also think he would make a competition over who can eat their cake the fastest, and then he would ask me what the prize was. You know, he would. And I also think that he would attempt to flag other guests in Pass the Parcel, and if somebody else flagged him, he would be angry about it. I think also we have we have to remember it's a costume party. I don't see Hikaru in a costume, I'm not gonna lie. I think he just wears his regular clothes. So we next have Mr. Chessbra himself, Eric Hansen. I straight up think that Eric Hansen would complain that the music isn't techno. I also think that there is a strong possibility he could arrive drunk. Like, I think he's pre-gaming for my party. Which, you know, he could have just arrived on time. Now, no disrespect, I just think that he would bring some extra guests. I'm okay with this. I have nothing against the other chess bros. I just think that it would have been nice for him to ask before bringing them, you know? I just think he could have asked before he brought them. But I just kind of feel like he would be like, nah, it's gonna be fine. I just don't think he would ask. Exactly, Lauren. Exactly, Lauren. And I also think that he would get kind of emotional after 9 p.m. What do you guys think? Also, we have to have him and Hikaru at the same party. So we're probably going to get a little bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of a fight maybe even. Because they're going to be trying to flag each other in Pass the Parcel, you know? I also just 100% don't see him wearing costume. I don't see the costume. I think you can tell a lot about a person if they would wear a costume to your costume party. Don't you think? We also have Shakriar Mamajarov. Both of his names are underlined in red, despite the fact that I spelled them correctly. We're just going to roll with it. Spends most of the party in the kitchen talking to my parents. He probably doesn't want to be there. Let's be honest. He also, not only does he spend all the time in the kitchen talking to my parents, he also stands by the snack table the whole time and he eats all of the sausage rolls. Like, all of them. And then he's like, are there more? And there just aren't. Gets his phone out and starts doing puzzle survival so that he doesn't have to take part in Pass the Parcel and the other games. I just don't see him sitting down and playing Pass the Parcel with us. I feel like he must have like a niece or a nephew, and I feel like at least part of his costume or components of his costume are made up from children's fancy dress. You know, the accessories. Like, he either has like a little like wooden sword or something just like in his jeans pocket that we haven't seen since he arrived. This is just what I see happening. I'm sorry. Imagine Hansen and Big Shaka watching. I don't think they are. It's okay. I think I'm irrelevant enough that I can do this. Because he's not taking part a lot, he's probably a bit of a filler guest. And that's not because I don't want him there. It's because he doesn't want to be there, okay? It's not a me thing. It's a him thing. I just don't think he wants to be there. So next we have Anna Cramling. I actually think that Anna would be an excellent guest. I think she would bring a really nice gift, and I think it would be really, really, really well wrapped. Like, perfectly wrapped. It has a ribbon. It's in a gift bag. There's probably even a card in there as well. I feel like Anna would try and skip the songs on my playlist. You know, I've spent a long time on this playlist. Guys, theoretically, I've spent a long time on this playlist, which doesn't exist. I hope she likes Taylor Swift. But I do think that she would spill a drink on somebody. She would be having fun. She'd be having a great time. And then I think she would just accidentally spill a drink on somebody. And, you know, she would, do you think she'd hijack running the games? I feel like she would be a really good sport about the games. I feel like she'd be enthusiastic about the games. My next guest on the guest list is Daniel Naroditsky. And I actually think that I think he might be a bit awkward. I think he would get quite nervous around some of my pretty friends. And I think that in general, because none of my female friends in real life play chess. So I reckon he'd probably say something about chess. They'd give him a bit of a look and then he'd back away slowly. And I also think that he would just wear his own clothes. I think not from the perspective that he doesn't want to wear a costume, but from the perspective of, like, if you're from the UK and you have like a non-uniform day, he's the kid that like forgets about non-uniform day and ends up in his uniform, you know? I feel like that could happen. I feel like he'd just forget. But then I don't think that he would realize that would actually be like a conversation he never gets out of. And she would just keep talking. And then also Shaq's just there in the corner. He's just like eating a sausage roll, like, okay, I'm meant to be hanging out with the parents, like, please, Daniel. And yeah, I just see him like not having the best time, but I think he would be a good sport about it. I think he'd be a little bit, I think he'd feel a little bit uncomfortable that he forgot the costume aspect of the costume party. But overall, I think he would be polite. I think he'd be a good guest. I think maybe he might even kind of like tidy up as he goes along, you know? I feel like maybe if he gets a bit bored, he would look around, pick up some cups, take them back into the kitchen, just kind of like an excuse to go back into the kitchen. Next, we have Levon Aronian. I actually think that Levon would be the perfect guest. All around stand-up guy, just ideal guest. He would follow the dress code. He would be immaculately dressed. I'm not gonna lie. He actually would just nail the dress code. And I would just invite him back every time. Every year I would invite him to my party. I also see him bringing a nice bottle of wine. Wine might be a basic gift, but it's also a nice gift because at a lot of adult parties you don't bring a gift. So I think it's nice to bring a gift. And I feel like he would be like, yes, it's a token, you know? It's about the thought. It's the thought of bringing a gift. You know, Hikaru didn't bring a gift. So, you know. But yeah, so I think Levon would be a great guest. My next guest is Levy Rozman, everyone's favourite chess streamer, Gotham Chess. I actually think that he would spend the entire party talking about how he's going to be a GM. I think he would open with it. I think every friend of mine that I introduce him to, he'd say, oh yeah, I'm an IM, but I'm going to be a GM soon. You know, and you know, that's fine. It's just maybe not every conversation that we have could be about that. It's fine. It's good to bring conversation starters to a party. It's just usually good to bring more than one. I also think that he tries to get into a fight with Levon about who wore the better shirt. Don't know if you guys have noticed, but since Levy became more successful, he's been buying some very nice shirts. No disrespect, I like it. I feel like it's good. But I think that he may be a little bit competitive about it. And I just think Levon would not want to entertain that. I just think he'd be like, do you know what, Levy? Like, you're wearing a perfectly nice shirt. I'm wearing a perfectly nice shirt. Let's not spoil the party. I'll invite him and then he'll just forget to bring Lucy, or Lucy will be busy. And really, when I'm inviting Levy, I'm inviting Lucy. Because let's be honest, Lucy is an absolute delight. And if he doesn't bring her, that's my assessment. I think he would enjoy the party games. I think overall he'd be a good guest. I think he would bring a small gift, potentially. Although it might just be like a thing of G Fuel because he forgot to buy something. And I'd be like, okay. My next guest is Anna Rudolf. I think that she would put a lot of effort into her costume. Like a lot, like a ton. I also think that she'd be the one to diffuse the fight between Levy and Levon. And I think that she would just be the one who's kind of like keeping the peace. But I think she would leave really early. You know, I think that it would hit 9 o'clock. She would see Eric a bit tearful and she'd be like, do you know what? I've probably stayed long enough. You know, don't want to be here too long. Don't want to overstay my welcome. I think it would come out of a place of like good etiquette and manners. But I do think that she would leave quite early. Anish Giri. And Anish would ask if there's a drawing game that we can play. You know, he doesn't like Pass the Parcel. He just wants to do something else. See Anish wearing a suit. He's wearing a suit to my party, and I don't know why. And I just don't know why he's wearing a suit to my party, but he kind of is. And I also see him just kind of sitting on his phone. Yeah, he's going to be tweeting, exactly. He's going to be on Twitter. He's going to be sat on the sofa in between, like, he'll be sat in between people having a conversation. They'll be having a conversation over him because he was part of the conversation. Then all of a sudden he decided he wanted to be on his phone instead. And yeah, the suit thing I didn't really get. I think maybe he didn't get the the fancy dress aspect. He must have thought like, oh, I have to dress fancy, rather than the whole fancy dress costume party thing. The next guest at my birthday party is, of course, we had to invite Jabava, because, you know, you can't really have a party if you don't invite the dancing GM. And I honestly just think he comes, he dances, he leaves. I had to invite him. It would have been strange. It would have been strange not to invite him, don't you think? My next guest at my birthday party is, of course, Benjamin Finegold. I had to invite a fellow vegan to my party. I think he brings a vegan dish for the snack table. I think he does. I think he brings something. And I also think that he brings Karen and Spencer, and I like Karen and Spencer. I think they're absolutely delightful. But the main difference here between Mr. Benjamin Finegold and Eric Hansen is Ben clears it with me first. He asks first. Does Eric ask first? No, he doesn't. I think he would bring a vegan dish for the snack table, but I also think he doesn't stay that long. Yeah, I just think that he doesn't stay that long. I think he would come, he would like say hi to everybody, but I don't think he would stay late. Next guest is Mr. Gary Chess himself. I just felt like it was rude if we didn't invite Gary Chess. He's just trying to make things a little bit political. Like, he sees my mom and Daniel Naroditsky having a conversation in the kitchen, and he's like, hey, I heard you're talking about philosophy, but why don't we talk about politics? And I just see that happening, you know? And then he gets really confused as to why people keep calling him Gary Chess, because I just don't think he gets that meme. No, I'm Garry Kasparov. Like, he's like, why can no one here pronounce like any like 3-syllable words, you know? So he just thinks that people are pronouncing his last name wrong, and they're just saying chess. And that kind of bugs him a bit, so he just tries to change the subject, make it a little bit political. Yeah, true. I also really, really see him asking if we can do karaoke. I will stand by this to my grave. Gary's gonna want to do karaoke at my birthday party. He wants to. He maybe arrived slightly late. He missed Pass the Parcel. He didn't get a prize in Pass the Parcel, missed Pass the Parcel. So instead of, or to make up for that, he wants to do karaoke. He wants to do karaoke. Gary's sing karaoke, but only for 1960s Russian songs. Do you know what? I actually have a theory. I bet that Gary Chess knows absolutely every single word to Blank Space by Taylor Swift. He knows, or he thinks he knows every word to Blank Space, you know? You know, like that part where she sings "Got a Long List of Ex-Lovers." He just kind of mumbles a bit because, you know, he wants to. He thinks he's got it right, but he hasn't quite got it. I just think I think he knows it. He would stay way too long. I think we would be like wrapping up the party at the end, and he'd just kind of be sat on the sofa. He would literally just be sat on the sofa, like hanging out, like talking to everyone as they're like packing away, not offering to help. Of course, I don't think he would offer to help pack away. Okay, maybe you disagree with me on Blank Space, but he would want to do karaoke. Here's my other take. He would ask for it, but then he would choose a song like Tequila, where he just stands up at the front and he's like, he just like kind of like dances a little bit to the song, like, and then he just says Tequila, and that's it, like in his strong Russian accent, because I can't do it. You know, I think that maybe that's the other take, is that he says vodka. How does Gary approach the Pass the Parcel game? I think he doesn't really understand what's going on, but he sits down and just passes it. He says Gary instead of tequila. That's an even better take. I think he would play Pass the Parcel, but I don't think he would understand that he was playing Pass the Parcel. I don't think he would understand that he was playing it. If you think that Karpov would RSVP, then you're already on the wrong track. There is no way that Karpov RSVP'd to my birthday party. No. He passed it very slowly, politely with both hands. I agree. But I'm not sure he'd know why he was passing it, you know? Okay, so chat has collectively agreed that Gary would do karaoke. My only real criticism is that he stays a bit too long. That's it. Anyway, next guest is Fabiano Caruana. So I think that Fabi, he's not going to drink any of the alcohol. Straight up, that's my assumption. I don't think he'll drink. I think he'll just kind of stand there. And I actually think that instead of following the dress code, he shows up wearing his World Chess Championship merch, which he snubbed live on Chess Twitch. As we all remember, he snubbed the World Chess Championship merch, but I think that he is gonna be wearing his World Chess Championship shirt, because basically the whole thing with Fabi, right, is that I reckon he was texting Hess before, because obviously Hess was also invited. So he was texting Hess, and then Hess was meant to be coming, and they were both meant to be wearing the merch. But then all of a sudden, last minute, like Fabi arrives early, and then Hess cancels. That's what I think happens. Hess just cancels, and then Fabi's kind of, I feel like he's kind of like a little bit like, I don't know, I think he's a little bit down for the rest of the party because Hess cancelled. But I think he would say like, oh, World Chess Championship, that's basically a costume, right? So I also, as we all saw Fabi's cat t-shirts during the World Chess Championship broadcast, I think he would make friends with my cat. I think that's what he would do. He would kind of go around the house, just kind of like looking for the cats. And then as soon as he located one, I think he would very, very quietly and calmly sit himself down on the floor and just pet the cat for a while. I think that's what he would do, because he would probably also, for the first kind of hour of the party, he'd probably be texting Hess like, where are you, like, why are you not here? Yeah, he doesn't show, but I think he does make friends with the cat. And he's definitely not drinking. Probably he has to do something the next morning. He was very like divided on if he wanted to come in the first place. We're running out of players, guys. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Okay, Danny is not going. Sadly, he was busy doing official chess.com business stuff. He is not going. Next one is Jan Nepomniachtchi, and I also think that Nepo will be hanging out with the cats for the whole time. If you have not seen that video of Nepo playing Blitz online and his cat comes and sees him, he would definitely be hanging out with the cats the whole time. I also think he's going to be doing a lot of trauma sharing with Fabi about the experience of being a World Chess Championship challenger. I think there would be some sharing. There would be a DMC. Dubov couldn't come because he got COVID. Was Duda invited? Duda is he's too cool to come to one of my birthday parties, I have to say. He didn't want to. So the next chess player who RSVP'd to come to my 24th birthday party, hypothetically, is Alireza Firouzja. And Alireza did kind of hit me back with I'm not being paid enough to attend. And I didn't really get that because it was a party, and I just don't really think he like understood that parties usually people just go. He also doesn't reply to my invitation until the day before, which, you know, I don't really respect, because when I have like all the party bags ready and like know how many people I had to get cake for, he replied really late, and then I was like, okay, like sure, you can come, like of course you're still welcome. And then on the day he sends his brother and thinks we won't notice. Momo, exactly. He had better stuff to do, you know. I guess he wanted to be like playing chess or something. I'm not saying that we wouldn't want his brother there. I'm sure his brother is an absolutely delightful guest. That's, you know, not who I invited. Magnus asks if the party is for him. And do you know what? Not every party can be for you. Not every party. I also think that he orders Dominoes, but then he doesn't share it. Like, he only orders enough Dominoes for him, and he doesn't share it with anybody else. And he says that next year he'll only come if Alireza does. And, you know, it's not my fault that Alireza didn't come this year. I thought he was going to. But yeah, he said that next time he wouldn't even bother going if Alireza wasn't the one going with him. So it's also kind of weird to order food to somebody else's party. Not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure that's the most polite thing. I think he would be a very lively party guest, but I'm not sure he'd be the most polite party guest. Magnus playing Pass the Parcel right down into the end game though. Like, surely he can't win this one. Oh, surely he can't win this one. But yeah, I don't know what other party games we would be playing. Maybe like musical statues. Are you guys aware of musical statues? I feel like Jabava just wouldn't really get that one. He would just kind of keep moving. He'd be out in round 1. We next have MVL, Maxime. I just straight up think that Maxime's going to bring his own snacks. I think he will bring a backpack, a bit of, maybe even a little bit of a scruffy backpack. And he brings his own snacks in the backpack. And then I also think that later in the party, he gets together some people to play Bug House, and he like takes the chess sets. But then I think that on the way to setting them up, he drops them, and he loses so many of the pieces. Like, he loses a lot of the pieces, and I feel like he's not even that apologetic about it. I'm literally ranking chess players based on how I think they would behave at my birthday party, which isn't happening, and that they would never come to. So don't try and take it too seriously. I also think that, hey Dan, I think that he may forget his backpack at the end of the party. I think he may leave the backpack behind and have to come back in a couple of days to get it. But then he never comes at the right time. He only comes whenever we're out. And then he's like, oh my gosh, I can't be able. And then he just like doesn't come and pick up his backpack. He just leaves it there, you know? Very specifically, I feel like that could happen. The penultimate guest is obviously Sergey Karjakin, who honestly seems kind of reluctant to be there. And he really doesn't stay for very long. Like, I think somebody counted and it was like literally only 16 minutes. Like he just showed up. And I think everyone was kind of looking at him a bit funny. They were like, okay, Karjakin, like, all right. And then I think he tweets. He has a bit of a Twitter fest after. He saw Magnus there. Yeah, he saw Garry, and he was like, so I just think that maybe, I don't know, maybe it was just my fault. Maybe it was just a little bit of an awkward mixture of people. Maybe I invited some of the wrong people, like, for the wrong groups. But yeah, I just think that he didn't really want to be there. My final guest, of course, is Nigel Short, and he wasn't invited, but he shows up anyway, and then he just stands outside the door and we don't let him in. That's the whole narrative. He's not invited. He's not invited. That was all of the players that I included. I'm sorry that I missed out a couple of your favorites. But I hope you enjoyed the presentation.